Hello, my name is Nathan Beechin, and this is my presentation on executive protection versus college security. Executive protection is designed for high-profile targets who are at risk of being assassinated, kidnapped, or assaulted. The Secret Service is a form of executive protection whose duty is to provide 24/7 security to the president as well as his family. Job duties will vary depending on a client, and generally clients are VIPs or CEOs of large companies. College security. Colleges can hire a personal security group or have local police on patrol. Some security groups have full police powers, meaning they can arrest or detain someone, and armed security is often used on college campuses. Executive protection training includes threat assessment training, defensive and escape tactics, communications training, use of firearms in enclosed spaces, protective movement plans, driving, and training will vary depending on client needs and depending on the locations. Threat assessment training is important because executive protection personnel need to be able to spot threats and prepare for threats. Defensive and escape tactics is also important because they need to be able to defend themselves as well as their client and escape from danger. Communications training is important because all of the executive protection personnel need to be able to communicate with one another effectively and efficiently, even in dangerous situations. Use of firearms in enclosed spaces is important because personnel need to be able to know how to use their firearms or they're going to put someone else's life in danger. Protective movement plans generally means being able to constantly provide protection for the client while moving around. Driving is just being able to drive effectively and efficiently in dangerous situations. And college security training generally includes defensive tactics, firearms training, which varies. Some colleges may not require it, some may, and communications training. Executive protection requirements are a background investigation, drug testing, concealed carry license. Previous security experience is generally preferred, and the qualifications will vary depending on client. If you have a high-level government official, they may require you to have a top secret security clearance before accepting you for a job. College security requirements are a high school diploma or GED, as well as drug testing and a background investigation. Executive protection communication is oral communication, email, telephone, radio, and written documentation. College security communication is radio, email, written documentation, and oral communication. Oral communication is both important in college security and executive protection because by being able to talk with one another effectively and efficiently, it helps provide more security for the client and other personnel and helps you act and respond more efficiently. Executive protection ethics. Stealing is a big one because when working with a CEO, they generally have a large amount of money as well as a large amount of luggage with them, meaning that they have expensive items that they usually bring with them. And if your executive protection personnel aren't very ethical, it may result in someone stealing, which could result in the loss of your job or the loss of business from that client. Information sharing is also something to watch out for because if any of the personnel give up information as to where the client is, it could result in a dangerous situation for the client as well as the personnel guarding him. Proper documentation is also another thing. if personnel don't keep up on their documentation, such as a concealed carry license, they may not be able to work on the job because they can't carry a gun around with them. And lastly, the completion of job duties is important because anything that you don't complete can result in someone getting injured or killed. College security ethics. Written documentation is important because you want to log any situations that do happen for future reference. You may be called on as a witness, and you will need that. It'll be nice to have that log of information, as well as it's important to keep track of what's going on a daily basis. Stealing is also something to watch out for in college security, because there's a large number of assets on a college campus, and college security generally have access to most buildings on campus. Proper surveillance is also extremely important because generally colleges have CCTV set up across the whole campus, and if the security personnel can't properly monitor the cameras, someone could be put in a dangerous situation that could have been easily resolved if security had been doing their job correctly. And lastly, the completion of job duties is important because actually in any security job, the completion of your job duties is important because you're the one that's in charge of providing security for generally someone or something. And if you don't complete your job duties correctly, it could result in someone getting injured or losing their lives. And that's it. Thank you.